For over 300 years, humanity has looked at Jupiter and seen one defining feature: a massive crimson eye staring back from the void, a storm so enormous it once swallowed 3 Earths, and NASA's position has been consistent for decades. It is dying, shrinking year after year, possibly gone within a human lifetime. But what if the shrinking is not the end of the story? What if it is the beginning of one? Because as the outer layers of this storm continue to pull back, new data is revealing something underneath them that the standard models were not built to explain. And the closer the sensors get, the stranger the picture becomes. The storm that should not still be here. Let's start with the basic problem, because it is genuinely strange once you look at it directly. Jupiter is a gas giant. There is no solid surface anywhere in its outer atmosphere. Everything is in constant violent motion. Weather systems form, drift, merge, and dissolve. That is what they do on gas giants. Atmospheric features get torn apart by competing wind currents within months. The planet's jet streams run in opposite directions at hundreds of miles per hour. Nothing in that environment is supposed to stay still. The Great Red Spot has been sitting at the same position for at least 190 years of continuous recorded observation. A storm located exactly 22 degrees south of Jupiter's equator, rotating counterclockwise at wind speeds of up to 432 kilometers per hour, holding its position decade after decade while everything around it churns and shifts. NASA's official explanation is a stable anticyclonic vortex, a rare but naturally occurring atmospheric phenomenon where the surrounding jet streams reinforce rather than erode the storm's structure. No solid surface, no anchor, just gas physics sustaining the same feature for centuries. That explanation has held for a long time. The new data is beginning to pressure it in ways that are difficult to ignore. The numbers behind the shrinking. Here's where things get interesting, and not in a reassuring way. In the late 1800s, the Great Red Spot spanned approximately 41,000 kilometers across its longest axis, wide enough to fit 3 Earths side by side with room to spare. By the time NASA's Voyager spacecraft flew past in 1979, it had already contracted to 23,000 kilometers. Hubble measured it at around 21,000 kilometers in 1995. By 2009, it was down to around 17,900 kilometers. And starting in 2012, the rate of shrinkage accelerated sharply, losing roughly 900 kilometers per year. By late 2023, it had dropped below Earth's diameter for the first time in recorded history. That trajectory alone would make this a straightforward story of atmospheric decay. A storm losing energy, contracting, heading toward eventual dissipation. But here's the thing. As the outer diameter shrinks, the internal behavior is not matching the pattern of a dying system. When a storm loses energy, the internal winds slow. The thermal signal disperses. The whole structure relaxes. That is what the models predict for a contracting vortex. Instead, NASA researchers found that as the Great Red Spot shrinks horizontally, it is stretching vertically, getting taller as it gets smaller. The internal structure is not relaxing, it is reorganizing. And the storm has recently started drifting westward significantly faster than its historical average, a behavior that has no clean explanation in the existing atmospheric models. Something is changing inside the storm as the outer layers retreat, and what it is changing into is not what a dying atmospheric vortex is supposed to look like. What Webb found above the storm. In July 2022, scientists pointed the James Webb Space Telescope's near-infrared spectrograph directly at the region of Jupiter's atmosphere sitting above the Great Red Spot. Not the storm itself, the upper atmosphere above it. The expectation was a quiet baseline. The region above the storm had always been assumed to be relatively calm, less interesting than the turbulent cloud layers below. The kind of target you observe to establish a reference point, not to make a discovery. What Webb found was the opposite of a baseline. The team, led by Henrik Millen at the University of Leicester, found dark arcs and bright spots distributed across the entire field of view. The upper atmosphere above the Great Red Spot was not quiet. It was as complex and energetically active as Jupiter's polar regions. Millen described the team's reaction directly. They had thought the region would be boring. It turned out to be just as interesting as the northern lights. He added, "Jupiter never ceases to surprise." The Webb data showed temperature variations, unexpected chemical concentrations, and structural features that sunlight alone could not produce. Something was pushing energy upward from the storm into the upper atmosphere and creating visible structures across the entire observational field. The researchers proposed that gravity waves, disturbances generated deep in the lower atmosphere around the storm, were traveling upward and reshaping the upper atmosphere as they went. But here is the question gravity waves alone do not fully answer. If the storm generating these waves is a dying system losing energy year by year, why is the signal above it becoming more complex and more energetically active as the storm shrinks, not less? The anchor question. Here is where the science gets genuinely difficult to explain with the existing framework. On Earth, a hurricane stays in place when something feeds it or blocks it. Remove those conditions and it moves. On Jupiter, there is no warm ocean patch. There is no topography. There is nothing in any textbook that should be keeping a storm system locked at the same latitude for 190 plus years while Jupiter's jet streams work to pull it apart. Juno's gravity mapping gave the first real look at how deep the Great Red Spot structure actually extends. What it revealed was that the storm reaches significantly deeper into Jupiter's atmosphere than its visible cloud tops suggest, down into layers where pressures become extreme and conditions are fundamentally different from the surface we observe. The storm is not a shallow atmospheric feature. It has deep roots that stretch into parts of Jupiter's interior that no instrument has ever directly measured. What is generating that deep structure? What is holding it at that specific latitude across nearly 2 centuries of observation? Why does the thermal behavior at the core diverge so completely from what contracting storm systems normally show? These are the questions the data has raised clearly, and that the standard models answer only partially. And the next major instrument pointed at Jupiter is already being built. China's Tianwen-4 mission, formally confirmed and scheduled for launch in October 2029, is specifically designed to examine the Jovian system's internal structure and atmospheric composition. Its payload includes multi-wavelength spectroscopic instruments and plasma analyzers targeted at answering questions about Jupiter's interior that no previous mission was equipped to address. Tianwen-4 will not arrive at Jupiter until 2035, but the fact that China named Jovian interior structure as a primary science objective, at the same moment, planetary scientists are finding anomalies in the Great Red Spot that the existing models cannot explain, is not a coincidence. It reflects where the most interesting open questions in Jovian science now sit. What comes next? The age of treating the Great Red Spot as a simple atmospheric curiosity that happens to be large and long-lived is quietly ending. Webb showed that its influence on Jupiter's upper atmosphere is more extensive and more energetically complex than anyone predicted. Juno's gravity data showed its roots extend far deeper into Jupiter's interior than the visible storm suggests. The shrinkage pattern is producing a taller, more concentrated, more anomalous internal structure rather than a dispersing one. And 190 years of positional stability in an environment where nothing is supposed to stay still remain without a fully satisfying physical explanation. Here is why that matters for what comes next. Every previous instrument pointed at the Great Red Spot was designed before these anomalies were fully understood. Voyager flew past in 1979 and captured images. Galileo and Cassini measured thermal signatures from orbit. Juno mapped the gravity field and microwave radiation from above. Each mission answered the questions it was designed to answer, but none of them was built specifically to look for what the latest data is now suggesting might be there. That is changing. China's space program formally updated the mission profile for its next generation of deep space sensor arrays in late 2025, reorienting instruments specifically designed to peer through dense, high-pressure atmospheres toward the Jovian system. The technology uses sub-millimeter wave filtering to strip away upper atmospheric layers in digital reconstruction, allowing researchers to isolate thermal signatures from specific depth ranges rather than reading the whole atmosphere as a single signal. In other words, they are not just looking at the storm. They are looking through it, layer by layer, at what sits underneath. What could they find? The honest answer is that nobody knows, and that is precisely the point. If the internal reorganization happening as the outer storm retreats is being driven by a fixed, deep structure of some kind, a dense concentration of heavy elements, a captured mass from the early solar system, or something the existing models have no category for, the sub-millimeter data would show it as a stationary thermal signature at a specific depth, a signal that moves with Jupiter's rotation but does not drift with the atmospheric winds around it. That is the detection that planetary scientists are now designing instruments to look for, not because the evidence is conclusive, but because the evidence is strange enough and consistent enough across multiple independent data sources that the question can no longer be dismissed as speculation. As the storm continues to shrink, the outer cloud layers that have obscured the interior for centuries are thinning. The window for answering the anchor question is not closing, it is opening, and the instruments now being pointed at it are the most capable ever aimed at this region of the solar system. What is underneath the Great Red Spot? What is anchoring it? What is reorganizing its internal energy as the outer structure retreats? The honest answer from the researchers studying it most closely is that the data has produced more questions than it has resolved, and the storm is still shrinking, which means whatever is underneath is getting closer to the surface. Outro: 190 years of continuous observation, a storm that defies the physics of its own environment, an internal structure that reorganizes as it contracts instead of dispersing, and an upper atmosphere above it that turned out to be anything but boring. The Great Red Spot is not finished surprising us. As it shrinks, it may finally be showing us what was always underneath. If you want to be there when it does, subscribe, because what comes next could rewrite everything.